This one we are going to find the opening that you would need to cut for a square chimney. Okay, so think of it like a sloped roof, and then you have to put a square chimney down through that sloped roof. What that automatically means is one of the dimensions of that square are going to be a different length because it's a sloped surface. Essentially, if you think of it like a right angle triangle, you're dealing with the hypotenuse along the slope, right, of that square. So a quick visualization of what we need to do here is basically, it's pretty straightforward, is we have a horizontal run of the roof, we have a vertical rise of the roof, and then they're going to connect to form a roof triangle, right? Similar like this here. Then we're going to have a chimney that cuts down through this roof, right? Some kind of cap chimney here or whatever that cuts down through this roof, right? Down and connects to the fireplace down below. Well, let's say the width of this chimney here is, I don't know, let's just say it's 2 feet. Well, it's 2 feet across the chimney here, but the hole I have to cut in the plywood is actually now going to be a slope distance from here to here, right? And what that's going to create is a longer distance, which is going to be some kind of hypotenuse. Okay, so I know that's kind of small and hard to see, but we will redraw it a little bit larger there, and then we'll figure out what these two dimensions are. So basically, if this is 2 feet, square chimney, and the hole we have to cut out here is basically going to be 2 feet on the horizontal, but then we would have to actually figure out what this length is based on our roof slope for how long that cut would actually be, which means the hole that we cut out along the horizontal section of the roof would be 2 feet, but then we would have the sloping section of the roof, which would be a little bit longer because we have to deal with this hypotenuse of that 2 foot square. Let's go ahead and draw this out. So we're going to draw this to a 3/8 equals a foot scale. Okay. And we're going to start with our unit triangle here. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is, you can't really see, I'm going to slide up here so you can see it, but I have the 3/8 scale marked here. And when you're talking about unit triangles for roofs, they always have a run of 12. And realistically, that's kind of universal. It can be around 12 inches or around 12 feet or 1 unit, depending on how you want to look at it and how you want to approach the math. I'm going to use it as 12 here. I'm going to actually mark it off as feet, right? Because if I say to you, okay, we're going to build a roof, that's a 9/12 roof. Well, if you have a run of 12 feet, exactly, then that means that the rise is going to be 9 feet because of that 9:12 ratio. That is the roof slope. And that's what the roof slope means. So when I'm drawing this to scale, I'm going to draw it at a 3/8 scale, but I'm going to draw the entire roof slope in its entirety. So it'll be right here at 12 feet, right? So some 0 to 12. I'm just going to slide my ruler down here closer to the bottom. You can't see the numbers here, and I apologize for that. Just I have a leg in the way. But just know that I'm going from 0 to 12 using the 12-inch or the 3/8 equals a foot scale. Okay, so that was 0 to 12, right? And you can't really see my ruler here at all because I have a leg in the way, but you can see here, you can kind of see it, yeah. We have 0 feet, then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It's right here, right? And that's how long I made that line. 12 feet long using the 3/8 scale. So now what I need to do is put up a perpendicular. Now we're going to stick with our tried and true method here of putting up a perpendicular at the end of a line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try my best to guess. So instead of drawing a big circle, I'm going to draw an arc through there. I'm going to draw an arc somewhere at 60, and then I'm going to draw another arc somewhere at 120. And then I can come off this, I can step, there's my intersection for that point. And then I can come and step off this, there's my intersection for that point, which then I can bisect those 2 points to give me my right angle. So I think I've done this enough in all previous videos that you should be able to understand what I did there. If you don't, you might want to refresh and relearn, because this is a way to kind of keep your drawings a little bit cleaner. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to connect those points up. And I'm just going to draw a vertical green line here, right? That is 90 degree. And then what I'm going to do on that line, and I'm not going to use the compass for this part here, guys. We're just going to draw the roof in by measurement. So with my 3/8 inch scale here, you can see I have 0 feet, there's 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, which means this tick right here is 9 feet on the 3/8 scale. This 10 is from the 3/4 inch scale on the other side. See how the 0 is a little bit shorter here? I'll turn this ruler just sideways just for a bit so you can see it a little better. But you can see here that the 0 is a little bit lower than these values, this 14, 13, 12, so on and so forth. It's closer to the edge. So that means that this 3/8 scale is dealing with this 0 and all of those values in line with that 0. So this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This 10 is not in that same plane, so this 10 is from the other scale on the other side of the ruler. So that means here that this is 8, 9, 10 feet. Okay, so I want this 10 to draw a 9-foot rise. And I'm just going to switch that up just to make it a little easier. And I'm going to go 7 feet, which will be right here as a rise. Okay, so I have 6, 7, 8 feet. So if I mark it right there, okay, you can see that's 11 feet. Or sorry, I just did it. It's 11 from the 3/4 inch side, but it's 6, 7, 8 from the 3/8 side. So if this is 7 feet, I'm just going to go to the 0 mark here and mark it off. So now I have a rise of 7 feet marked, which I can then complete this triangle here, which I'm going to draw in that 7 feet, and I'm going to connect to form the roof slope or the hypotenuse of this unit triangle. Okay, so there we go. This bottom here is 12 and this is 7, which means we have a 7, 12 roof slope, and then this here is the diagonal of that. All right, now we want to figure out what's the long edge of this hole we need to cut to fit a square chimney down through. Let's say we're going to throw a chimney down that is 18 by 18 inches, right? We're going to drop that down through this roof. Well, there's a very quick and easy way to do this geometrically. So first thing I want to do is I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to pick a radius and I'm going to draw an arc, and I'm going to come down here and draw another arc. I just kept the same radius that I used for this, which works out perfectly well. And so then what I'm going to do is connect these points to form a parallel line to this edge. Okay, then I'm going to set my compass up to 18 inches. So we're using our 3/8 scale, right? Our 3/8 equals a foot scale. And I want to set this up to 18 inches. 18 inches is 1 foot 6. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set my compass on 1 feet. Remember, this is 0 feet. This is 1 foot. And this is 2 foot. You know this says 14. That 14 is from the 3/4 scale coming from the other side. So the 3/8 scale here is incremented into 2 foot increments. 2, 4, 6. So all the odd values are inside or in between those. So we know that 1 foot is here. And then at the end of the ruler here, you have that foot divided up into 12 equal spaces, which we will call inches. Okay? But they're a scaled inch. So I want 6 inches, so I want to go right in the halfway mark between those two. Right? That's going to mark me my 6 inches. So I'm going to set up my compass point on 1. And then I'm going to adjust my radius down to 1 foot 6. Okay, and that there is 1 foot 6. So now that I have that set, I can take my compass and go on this line anywhere and draw myself an arc. Oops, my compass slipped there a bit, but that's okay. I can come to another point here on the line and I can do another arc. I'm going to come back up here and make this a little bit bigger, just because I can. There we go. So that is my parallel line. That is 18 inches or 1'6" from the previous one. So I'm just going to connect these down here. Right, connect both of those lines. And now you can see if I put the 3/8 ruler up here, well, I'll even just put it right here on 8, let's say. All right, so here's 8 feet, this is 7 feet, and this is 6 feet. And you can kind of visually see that this line here is right in the halfway mark here. So that would be 1'6" or 18 inches. And if I just slide the ruler around here, oops, here's my 3/8 scale. I put it on 1 foot right here, and then I'm 1'6" in that scale length here. Okay. Now the only thing we have left to do is we know that this distance right here across is 18 inches. Well, the goal of this was to figure out what this dimension is from here to here. So when we cut that plywood out of our roof, we know how long we need to make that hole, right, to have this fit. So I'm going to use my 3/8 ruler here, other side, and I'm just going to measure it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this on the 1 foot mark, right, which is right there, and I'm just going to read to this point here. So on this scale ruler, it's really close to 1'9", which is right there. Okay, so it's about 1'9". Well, 1'9" is 12 plus 9, which is 21 inches. So this is roughly going to have to be 21 inches long. So this 18 by 18 square chimney is going to have a hole cut out of a roof. So the hole is going to be 18 inches wide. And then it's going to be 21 inches on the slope, right? On the slope of the roof. So down the roof, right? That's how big we have to cut that plywood out of our roof, on a 7/12 roof to fit an 18 inch by 18 inch chimney.